All right, so good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning. Okay naman po. Can you please give me a thumbs up or any reaction will do? All right, thank you. So for today, we'll be continuing our discussion regarding the clot-based screening test. By the way, I'll be providing you with the lecture materials on your Brightspace after this discussion. Get together with the on-site lecture. Okay, anyway, so let's proceed. So let me continue with some considerations, both for PT and PTT. So last time we talked about the PT, and I told you that we will continue these considerations today. Number one is magkakaroon ng prolonged, both for PT and PTT, result kapag improper yung proportion ng blood or ratio ng blood to the anticoagulant. The most common is short draw. Pag sinabi natin short draw, kulang yung blood na nakolek mo. Ibig sabihin, mas marami ang anticoagulant. So pag sinabi natin anticoagulant, it is preventing clot formation. Therefore, it will take longer period bago ma-form yung clot. Eh di ba ang mini-measure natin sa PT and PTT is yung duration ng time. From the time na nag-initiate yung clot until na-form yung clot. So imagine, mas maraming anticoagulant. So mas matagal ang clotting process than the normal. Therefore, prolonging your PT or PTT. So, ito yung common na nakikita natin sa lab kapag kulang, kapag nag-intern kayo, ma-experience nyo yan, kapag kulang yung blood na na-collect ninyo, kailangan po i-recollect. Kailangan po na panibagong blood sample ulit kasi that is prolonging the result for the PT or the PTT. Okay? So next is hematocrit if it's more than 55%. So I hope na-discuss yan sa inyo sa primary hemostasis. Doon di-discuss yung adjustment ng anticoagulant. May computation kasi yan na ginagawa para maging appropriate yung ratio ng blood at nung anticoagulant. So, pakitake note yung more than 55% na yan. Next is specimen clot. So, hindi natin mape-predict kung yan ay prolonged or shortened kasi depende yan. Kung halimbawa, na-form yung clot, depende kasi kung yung clot, halimbawa, yung micro clots, yung mga parang ito yung mga clots na hindi visible through our naked eye. So, halimbawa, nasama siya sa plasma na gagamitin mo for your PT or PTT. So, remember, ang dinedetect natin dito is clot. So, paano kung na-detect siya ng equipment? Mas maaga kesa dun sa totoong clot na gusto nating ma-form. So, what will happen? Pwedeng shorten. 'Di ba? Or pwede rin naman na halimbawa during the clotting process na-consume yung mga coagulation factor. 'Di ba? Halimbawa, pinrolong mo yung standing ng sample together with the whole blood. So what will happen? Mako-consume yung mga mako-consume yung mga procoagulants na nasa plasma. So ano naman ang effect? Mapoprolong. 'Di ba? So, depende po kung anong klase ng clot at kung paano nangyari yung clot. So, unpredictable yung magiging result. Okay? Whether prolonged or shortened. Visible hemolysis, on the other hand, may mga products yung hemolysis na possible mag-initiate ng clot formation. So, therefore, shortening the PT and PTT result. I repeat, yung mga RBC breakdown products could initiate clot formation. Therefore, shortening, napapaikli niya po kasi maagang nagka-clot, maagang na-activate yung intrinsic, extrinsic, or common pathway, shortening the PT and the PTT falsely. Tapos yung ectemia or lipemia, nakaka-apekto naman siya dahil sa equipment na ginagamit. Kung halimbawa, yung equipment, spectro-optical, electromagnetic, so mahihirapan siyang ma-detect yung clot na na-form. Kasi nga, very turbid, di ba? Icterus or lipemia, yung plasma, di ba? Turbid siya. So, because of that, probably affected yung time, affected ang PT or PTT. Hindi niya ma-detect kung may clot na ba or meron. Diba? So, affected both PT and PTT. So, to counteract that, kailangan natin gumamit ng mechanical coagulometer. UFH therapy, kailangan natin gumamit ng neutralizer para sa UFH. That is with the use of Polybrin. Lupus anticoagulant, hindi po magiging valid yung PT and PTT results natin. So you have to use other assays, principle, mga chromogenic assay. Okay? So now let's proceed to your partial thromboplastin time or your PT-PTT. So, same pa rin ang gagamitin nating reagent, same pa rin yung gagamitin nating sample. Pero iba yung reagent, ha? Kung yung reagent sa PTT, mataas ang tissue factor, this time, may laman po siyang thromboplastin. That is a source of phospholipid, a negative charge activator, and calcium. So, yun naman po yung laman ng PTT reagent. So, same ang principle with your PT, which is, i-measure mo yung time from the initiation until ma-form yung clot. Okay? So, that is in seconds again via measured yung clot or detected yung clot via optical or electromechanical sensors. This time, ang dinedetect naman deficiency sa mga factors that are involved in the intrinsic and common. So kung mapapansin ninyo, yung laman ng reagent, yung mga mag-a-activate naman sa intrinsic pathway. Of course, pag na-activate na yung intrinsic, dire-diretso na yan sa common pathway. So, unahin ko lang po yung content nung reagent. As I've mentioned, phospholipid. So, etong phospholipid na to is a platelet membrane substitute. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Diba, sa in vivo, ibig sabihin sa loob ng katawan natin, isa sa mga nag-a-activate sa contact factors ay negatively charged surfaces. Ano ba yung example ng mga negatively charged surfaces? Platelet membrane. Bakit? Anong meron doon? May phospholipid. So yan po yung partial thromboplastin na name-mention natin dito. Okay? And then, ano yung NCS? NCS is negatively charged activator in the form of silica gel, kaolin, or ellagic acid, or cellite. So, negatively charged suspension, NCS. And, syempre, may source pa rin ng calcium. That is in the form of 0.025 molar calcium chloride. So, bakit kailangan ng calcium? Kasi po, di ba, may mga tenases tayo. Katulad nito, si factor 9 at si factor 8. Tapos, di ba, may phospholipid yan. Ano pa yung isa pong component ng tinase? Di ba, mayroong calcium. So, yung reagent na po, yung nagpo-provide ng calcium, ng phospholipid, at yung plasma na i-collect natin for the test, yun na po yung magpo-provide ng iba't ibang coagulation factors such as factor 12, factor 11, prekallikrein, high molecular weight, factor 8, 9, 10, 5, 2, and 1. Kasi kung may deficiency dito, mapoprolong ang PTT mo. Diba? Bakit kasama ang heparin therapy? Kasi heparin is if you remember in our discussion ng prelim sa secondary hemostasis, heparin is an cofactor with antithrombin. At pag sinabi natin antithrombin, ninyo-neutralize niya po factor 2, factor 10, and other coagulation serine proteases. So of course, affected itong intrinsic and common. So that could also prolong your PTT. Lupus anticoagulant, on the other hand, will neutralize the phospholipid. So again, prolonging your PTT. Presence of anti-factor 8 antibody. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Kapag ka may this is usually present pala during autoimmunity. Kapag ka may autoimmune disorder yung patient, halimbawa, gumawa ka ng antibody against your own antigen. Like for example, our own antigen is factor 8. Gumawa ka ng antibody against it. So what will happen to your factor 8? The factor 8 will be neutralized. So, mababawasan po yung mga factor 8 sa katawan. Therefore, prolonging your PT or APTT. Malinaw? Okay. So, next. Ang reference range, by the way, pala natin is 26 to 38 seconds. Okay? 28 to 38 seconds. Kung ang PT ginagamit to monitor the Coumadin therapy, this time, ang PTT naman is used to monitor heparin therapy. So, naalala ninyo, ang heparin like UFH, diba? Low molecular weight, heparin is used to treat thrombotic conditions such as venous thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, myocardial infarction. So, meron tayong hindi natin in-normalize by the way. So halimbawa, sa PT, hindi talaga natin in-normalize to 12 to 14 seconds yung PT ng nagkukumadin therapy. Kailangan natin siyang i-maintain in a therapeutic range. Katulad sa heparin therapy, may therapeutic range ang PTT. Hindi 26 to 38, kung hindi 60 to 100 seconds. So para masabi natin na nasa at normal level pa rin, okay, na nasa therapeutic level, dapat ang PTT value is between 60 to 100 seconds. Kasi kung mas mababa na yan, diba, anong mangyayari? Magbe-bleed na po yung pasyente. Kasi ang problem mo dito, over ang coagulation ng pasyente, diba? So may thrombotic condition nga. So, kaya kagagamit ka ng heparin kasi heparin is an anticoagulant. Kung na-over naman yung therapy, kabaliktaran mo ng thrombotic condition ng mangyayari. So kung kanina, puro coagulation, dahil nasobrahan ka ng heparin therapy, magkakaroon naman ng bleeding. Okay? Kung hindi na monitor yung treatment. So therefore, if you're going to monitor the heparin therapy, the PTT is used to maintain it at the therapeutic range between 60 to 100 seconds. Okay. Other clinical application. So halimbawa, hemorrhagic disorder, hindi lang po sa mga thrombotic pero hemorrhagic disorder also. Halimbawa, etong hemophilia A, di ba, deficiency to ng factor 8. Hemophilia B, deficiency in factor 9. Rosenthal, deficiency in factor 11. So, lahat ng yan involved sa intrinsic. So, syempre, affected ang PTT. Vitamin K, including factor 2, factor 10, and factor 9. Mas sensitive ang PT kapag vitamin K deficiency. Bakit? Kasi po, among all the vitamin K dependent factors, factor 7. Kung kulang ang vitamin K sa katawan natin, ang unang maapektuhang function ay si factor 7. So, ulitin natin, si factor 7 ay member ng extrinsic. So, ibig sabihin, alin ang unang affected? PT or PTT? Therefore, PT. Diba? PT. So, PT is more sensitive for that reason. Understood? Pero, hindi ko sinasabing hindi pwedeng maging prolonged ang PTT kapag may vitamin K deficiency. Pwede din. Mas sensitive nga lang na mauunang madedetect ng PT ang vitamin K deficiency kumpara sa PTT. Okay po? Okay? Next is thrombosis. So similar din with your PT, mapoprolong din ng PTT kapag may DIC. Disseminated intravascular coagulation. Bakit? Kasi hindi lang naman ang mako-consume sa pag-form ng clot sa DIC is extrinsic at common lang. Kasama po sa mako-consume yung mga factors ng intrinsic. At dahil doon, DIC could also prolong the PTT. Understood? So, nako-consume yung mga coagulation factors, nawawala po sa plasma or nababawasan, kaya pag magpo-perform ka ng PTT or PT, matagal mag-form yung clot. Prolong yung ating duration. Okay? And then, as I've mentioned kanina, mga autoimmune disorder, kung nag-develop ka ng auto-antibody, like anti-factor 8, anti-factor 9, mga lupus anticoagulant, that could also prolong the PTT. Okay? So, let's move on to your TCT. So, kung ang PT ay nagde-detect ng deficiency sa factors involved in extrinsic and common, ang PTT naman is detecting deficiency or abnormality sa mga factors involved in intrinsic and common. Ang TCT naman is involved sa detection ng mga factors na involved sa factor 2 and factor 1. Hindi na po tayo mag-start sa factor 10, ha? Diretso po tayo kay factor 2, fibrinogen to fibrin. Wala rin po itong factor 13. Hindi din po sensitive ang TCT sa factor 13. Malinaw bakit? Ano bang laman ng reagent? The reagent is consists of thrombin, which is your factor 2. Di po ba? And calcium. So, technically, yung reagent na yan, kung meron kang factor 2 at saka factor 1, i-convert niya na yan diretso from the substrate fibrinogen to fibrin. Okay? Now, the principle is the reagent, which is the bovine thrombin reagent in NIH units per ml, will cleave the fibrinopeptides A and B in your fibrinogen to form detectable fibrin polymer. So by cleaving this fibrinogen structure, fibrinopeptides A and B, nakakapag-form tayo ng fibrin. And this, when activated, diba? So the thrombin converts fibrinogen to fibrin. So, ibig sabihin, kung may kulang tayo sa factor 2 or factor 1, mapoprolong ang TCT. Also, affected to by heparin therapy. Bakit? Kasi the heparin, again, cofactor ng antithrombin. Antithrombin will neutralize factor 2. So, if that happens, magkulang tayo sa factor 2, TCT will be affected. Also, these are affected by the presence of fibrin degradation product. So, napoprolong din po ang TCT. Okay? So, again, ang fibrinogen, similar with your PT, PTT, TCT will only be abnormal or prolonged if fibrinogen or factor 1 is less than 100 milligram per DL. So, dapat ganito siya kababa bago madetect. Okay? So, the reference interval for the TCT or TT, thrombin time, is 15 to 20 seconds. So, other than the deficiency in factor 2, factor 1, presence of FDPs, pwede rin ma-prolong ang thrombin clotting time kapag dysfunctional. Pag sinabing dysfibrinogenemia, ibig sabihin, abnormal ang function ng fibrinogen. So kahit normal ang concentration, kung hindi naman nagpa-function ng tama, so parang wala rin yung fibrinogen. Diba? Hypo is kulang, fibrino is wala. Lack. Okay? So, by the way, just remember, bago ka mag-diagnose na ang reason kung bakit ang TCT ay prolonged ay dahil sa fibrinogen, kailangan mo munang i-rule out kung ito ay talagang hindi dahil sa heparin, dahil sa fibrinogen degradation product, or paraprotein. So, i-rule out mo muna yan bago mo sabihin may problem sa fibrinogen. Understood? And then, presence ng thrombin inhibitor, the dabigatran. This is a antithrombotic therapy. You remember that in the antithrombotic therapies. So, mapoprolong po ang TCT in the presence of the dabigatran. Okay? So, let's move on to the reptilase time. By the way, parehas na parehas ang pathway ng reptilase time with the TCT. What do I mean? Ibig sabihin, ito rin yung pathway niya. Si thrombin, activate niya si fibrinogen to fibrin. Pero, hindi na tayo gagamit ng thrombin sa reptilase. Okay? Hindi ka nagagamit. Ang gagamitin mo dyan to convert the fibrinogen to fibrin is a thrombin-like enzyme known as batroxobin. Batroxobin, yan, is a substance that is an enzyme that is isolated from the venom of Botrops atrox. Okay? So that enzyme will convert fibrinogen to fibrin. Hindi mo kinailangan ng thrombin. Ibig sabihin, hindi po ito maapektuhan ng heparin. Right? This will not be affected by heparin. Why? Kasi wala tayong factor 2. Diba? Heparin is the cofactor of antithrombin which neutralizes factor 2. And since hindi ka nga gagamit ng factor 2, therefore, this will not be affected by heparin. So, prolonged po ito in cases of dysfibrinogenemia, hypofibrinogenemia, or presence of FDPs or paraprotein. Clear? So, sinulat ko po yan dito. Yan. Same pathway po ito. The TCT is the same as the pathway of the reptilase assay, except that the reptilase assay, since hindi po gumagamit ng thrombin, is not affected by heparin. And then, the last venom-activated assay is the Russell Viper venom test. So, by the way, this is already obsolete nowadays. Okay? Hindi na po tayo gumagamit ng RVV. This is from the Boya Russelli Viper. Ito naman, nagtitrigger ng coagulation starting from factor 10. Factor 10, here. Ayan. Start naman po siya dito, sa factor 10. Kung ang reptilase at TCT nag-start po dito sa thrombin para ma-convert ang fibrinogen to fibrin, ang RVV starts with factor 10. Okay? So this is also known as tip vent time. But again, hindi na po ito ginagamit nowadays. And dati ginagamit siya as alternative for the PT. So napoprolong po ito in case of LAC. What is LAC? Lupus anticoagulant. So this is used to detect lupus anticoagulant. So hanggang dito lang po tayo for today. Etong mixing study, i-discuss ko sa inyo next week. And yung quiz nito will be next week pa po. Sabay na po yan ng topic ni Dean at ng secondary hemostasis. Alright? So, yun lang po for today. Any question or clarification? Can you please give me a thumbs up kung okay na po tayo? Wala na po kayong question. Okay. So, just a reminder for everybody, this is already our final term. So, kailangan na po nating mag-double time, ha? Kung talagang gusto nating mag-succeed sa HEMA 2. Alright? So, just a reminder, mag-aral mabuti. Okay, that would be all for today. If you don't have any more questions, thank you so much for coming. Pwede na pong mag-leave. Okay, bye!